What's going on, everybody? Josh or Miho here. I hope everybody's doing good and well and stuff. I got an album review to do for you, and I'm going to be talking to you about the debut album from the band Necrowretch, entitled Putrid Death Sorcery. This is released on Century Media Records. Now, if you're not too familiar with this band, they're based out of Valence, France, and the best way to describe the sound of this band would be a straight-up old-school style of traditional death metal. Pretty much done in the vein of Swedish death metal, Dismember, Early Grave, per se. This has been a band that's been around for a couple of years, but yet they've been making a lot of moves in the underground with some EP and demo work. The first couple of things that come to mind when I think of this band is the very first thing that they've ever released, Rising from Purulence, which came out around 2009, if I'm not mistaken. And I thought that was some very, very awesome stuff. Very, very heavy, very dirty, but also very promising stuff. And more recently, I got introduced to their 2012 7-inch entitled Now You're in Hell, which included one new song and a death cover. I think they did Zombie Ritual, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, just some really, really entertaining death metal. And it only made me wonder what kind of, what they were going to do for their very first full length after releasing a bunch of EPs, compilation appearances, and of course the EPs and what have you. And now we have their debut, Putrid Death Sorcery. It's 11 tracks and it clocks in at around 35 minutes in length. And this is a band that basically sticks to the basics. They know what they set out to do, and they do it, and they accomplish it. And Necrowretch pretty much continue on doing what they've been doing with their previous works, and they bring some of that onto here. And if you're a fan of old-school death metal, in the vein of traditional death metal, US death metal, or even Swedish death metal, you'll have something to enjoy with Necrowretch. The guitar work on here is really solid. I'm really digging the way the riffs are delivered. There's a lot of catchiness and a lot of good qualities to the riffs. There's some really ripping and searing solo work that appears on this record. They do appear in spurts, but when you do hear the solos, they are really, really awesome. Yeah, I mean, take the opening track, Ripping Souls of Sinners. This album starts off with a bang, and honestly, it works its way slowly but surely throughout this entire record, and these riffs definitely have you paying attention and wanting to listen. Bass-wise, I think it's a really awesome bass tone. It's very, very appropriate and very, very righteous for this style of death metal. It's played very nicely, and I want to say on the track, The Anthropomancer, yeah, I think that's the track. You hear some really good, solid, audible bass. Very strong, very heavy, very well executed. I dig it a lot. Drum-wise, the drums basically have a routine of sticking to double bass and blast beats. Very nicely done. It does kind of feel a little bit same-ish at parts, but you definitely can move past that if you want to. Some really good, solid drum work all the way throughout. Very good, solidly paced, and very, very old school style. I dig that about the drums. And the vocals are very awesome. I dig the high-pitched screams, the wails. That's the kind of vocal style you hear throughout this record. Very high-pitched, raspy kind of screams, and they're done very, very, very well. I love this guy's vocal style, just the way he delivers his words, and the lyrics are pretty top-notch too. I'm digging what this guy has to say. Pretty radical. So overall, if you're a fan of this band's early works, if you're into old-school death metal, Necrowretch is definitely a band to be on the lookout for. I'm really, really impressed with this debut. I'm pretty sure that with time, this band will get a lot better and have a lot more to work on. I really enjoy this band's work, and I'm definitely looking forward to what the future holds for Necrowretch. If I had to pick any favorite tracks from this album, I definitely would have to say the opening track, Ripping Souls of Sinners, Goat-Headed, the title track, It's Very Fun, Spewed from Hell, and The Anthropomancer. So again, the album is Putrid Death Sorcery by Necrowretch. This is released on Century Media Records. Check it out if you're into old school death metal, and I'm going to give this a solid 8 out of 10. Really awesome debut. Definitely a nice little companion to all this band's prior works. So check out Necrowretch. I'm going to conclude this review. Thanks all for watching. Thanks for checking out my channel. And until the next time, Armijo out.